Be naming the best Munster hurler over the past 25 years as selected by you. But before we make the presentation, it's time to look ahead to next Sunday's Munster hurling final as Waterford take on Tipperary.
Now pay close attention. You may not know it, but the next Great Depression is right around the corner. People will lose their jobs, then their homes. It's going to be the perfect time for the race. A hard sport for a hard age.
All the way down towards Prendergast, and here's a chance, and there's a goal by Tony Brown. Kelly, it's fired in, and it's in the back of the net. Waterford are the Munster hurling champions. What a day to be a fan of the Daysha. Inside, Dan has got it. Dan Shanahan sending it inside here into the corner. Kelly, and Shanahan has got another. In comes Kelly again, and it's another one. And Waterford have won a famous Munster hurling semi-final. This is what it's all about.
All right, let's get the views of our panel about next Sunday. Cyril, are these the two best teams in Munster?
Oh yeah, definitely. Outside of Kilkenny, Tipperary are the most consistent team in the country of the last 2 years. They're thereabouts, and they are knocking on the door. They have a full pick going in next Sunday. They'll be hot favourites playing at home. Now, Waterford are missed a few players, like, Kim McGrath has got a knee injury, he's out. Gary Horney went in full forward the last day. He's got a broken shoulder, he's gone as well. There's doubts about Steve Malumphey. But even without these fellas, they'll be very hard to beat. Waterford will try to stop Tip from running. Tipperary in all the matches have been running to big leads, easing off the pedal, getting caught and then coming again. Waterford will get in their faces, try to stop them from getting into a lead and try to put the pressure on them. If they got the 3 or 4 points up, they'll be trying to see how Tip would react. But you'd have to say that Tip will be the favourites next Sunday and should win the game.
All right, Ger, take us through Waterford.
Well, you can say that Tullis is the home of Tipperary hurling, but Waterford have played better there than they've played in any other pitch. Now, I suppose, looking at him this year, I suppose there's an over-reliance on John Mullane. That has been the big problem they have this year. The big bonus the last day was the performance of Seamus Prendergast, especially in the last few minutes, of Brick Welch at centre-back. I think that is the move that has really changed around Waterford this year, because they were very vulnerable to people coming through the centre than before, but Walsh has been absolutely outstanding since he went back there. Now, look at Mullane here. Mullane is on fire this year. He's even better this year than he was ever before, because now he can shoot left and right. And it doesn't matter what kind of a player comes on him, whether he's aggressive. Now, here's one of the faults they have, and they had in their line last year. When a team runs at them from the half-forward line, they leave their full-back line very, very open. And even with Brick Welch back there, they haven't solved that problem. Here we are against Kenny Baton Larkin. There you are, the loose man left inside. Now, you don't see that with many other teams. They have no player back covering, no one minding the house, and they get as open as could be. There they are, 30 yards cut from the goal, no one standing back, no one minding the house, and the team are clean through. Now, if they eliminate those faults, especially the fault of the team running on them, their full back line getting dragged out a bit too far. Now, the Tip half-forward line, when they play well, when they play well, as they did against Cork in the first half, their half-forward line run at the full back line, like against Clare. They were running Clare ragged when they did that, right. Provided, of course, they get possession. The biggest problem the Tipperary half-forward line is to win the puck out and get possession. But when they do, they run at that full back line. They're very dangerous, and Waterford will have to cut out this. They'll have to cut out the runners coming through, probably by dropping a player back. If Malumphey is there, he'd be perfect for it. If he's not, he'd be big loss.
OK, Tomas, you've been looking at Tipperary first.
Yeah, and I mean, I've looked at Tipperary and I suppose the good, the bad, and I suppose Brendan Cummins at the end of it, because, I mean, they've looked very, very impressive in phases of their game this year, and particularly, I mean, they played a lot of a game plan with their puck outs down on top of Lark Cobbett on the smaller corner back. Against Clare, the crossfield ball is very, very effective. Here we see it going down to John O'Brien, and again, like running through, they're finding men in space, getting a score here. I mean, very, very effective, And John mentioned about the pace that they have in their half-forward line when they run at guys, they set up scores and stuff like that as well. The ugly side of this, or the bad side of this, is that they seem to run out of pace in games. They seem to actually slow down completely. That this running game has taken so much of them because there's so much movement particularly in their forward line, they're crisscrossing and stuff like that. And I mentioned Brendan Cummins. I mean, this is a stage in the game that Clare maybe could have won this game because he made a fantastic save. Here we are against Cork again, against Patrick Horgan. Okay, hits it on his head, but this guy wants to put it in front of the ball when it comes at him, you know, and he's been kind of the rock that they're building on, certainly in defence, and only for him, particularly the last day against Clare. I mean, Clare could have won that match, and that's probably the bad and the ugly side of Tipperary. Very, very good going forward, very good attacking team, but they certainly have run out of steam.
As well as that, the three big leaders they had last year, Conor O'Mahony centre back, Shane McGrath at midfield, and Owen Kelly corner forward. They're just not hurling this year. They're not playing. They've been taken off in almost every game. And unless you have solid leaders on a field, with the tide turns against you.
These three lads are coming back from injury. You know,
I know.
I want to go and hear from the two managers. So before I do, a one-word call on it, Tomas.
I think Tip and Thurles will be hard to beat.
Tip.
If those three play at their best, Tip will win. If not, Waterford could win quite easily.
Is that Tip or Waterford?
That's not the answer.
Three words beyond now.
3 words. One word, he said. One word.
You're not getting paid now. Come on, one word.
One word now. Cyril.
Pass.
I tip. I go for Tip.
Tip. 3 for Tip. Let's head back to Thurles and see what the managers make of our very decisive panel here in Dublin. Marty.
Well, you've started a conversation down here in Hayes' Hotel as well, Des. Davy Fitzgerald and Liam Sheedy, the two managers with me here. Liam Sheedy, let me just talk about last year, the All-Ireland semi-final and losing. Is that a huge psychological thing in terms of an advantage that you have a point to prove?
Not really, Marty. You know, we were obviously disappointed last year, you know, and you know that's 2008. It's all about 2009 now. From our point of view, just delighted to be back in the Munster final. You know, it's a very, very competitive championship, as we all know, and two very, very tough assignments on the way, obviously with Cork and Clare, and you know, thankfully we've got ourselves back into the final, which was our aim. You know,
the fact that you know them so well, I mean, are you going to come up with some tactical cuteness that we haven't quite anticipated?
No, really, I suppose it's all down to on the day. You know, I mean, Waterford are a top-class side, everyone knows that, you know, but I'm on record of saying that Munster is a minefield, and wherever you turn in Munster, you're going to get a really, really competitive match, and it's typically puck of a ball stuff, so I don't think see next Sunday being any different, but lads are training well. There's a great buzz in the camp, and we're just looking forward to next Sunday.
Any injury problems?
Shane Maher is still struggling with his hamstring and probably won't make it, but other than that, we should be okay, I think.
Davy Fitzgerald, second year as manager of Waterford. Are you under pressure down in the Dashes?
So they tell me at times, I think, anyway. Listen, I'm enjoying my stint there. As I said, we got a good run last year. Probably didn't get a great result in the final, you know, but again this year we're back in the Munster final, and I suppose a lot of people would have wrote us off after what happened last year, but you know, they're strong lads down there, they're mad for road, and it's great to be back competing again in the Munster final.
What's vital now from a Waterford perspective to try and win this Munster Championship? Where are the crucial battles?
I was listening to the lads there before, and so we'll have to take heed of some of them, I suppose, anyhow, but
does this mean you'll be ringing Ger Loughnane for advice before the Munster final?
I'm sure he's a lot of points there, and so do other guys, and certainly you'll look at Everton. As I say about management, I'm sure Liam's the same, like you're learning every day. I don't think there's any geniuses out there, you know. There's good days and bad days. I think the next day is going to be tough. Like I am, I suppose, a bit disappointed that missing the likes of Kim McGrath and Gary Hurney, who were going very well. Steve Malumphey with big doubt, but like I was looking there, Kim McGrath has been a pivotal figure for Waterford for years, and you wouldn't have dreamt going out without him and succeeding in a Munster final for maybe the last 2 or 3 years. And he is certainly going to be, I suppose, we'll be trying our best for him to get him to a semi-final if we possibly can, you know. But it's going to be tough the next day, without a shadow of a doubt.
I know you've been talking here in Hayes' Hotel all night, two great friends, you'd swear you were neighbours actually. But I mean, in terms of the heat of a battle, you're both emotional at times, I noticed, along the sideline. Would you have a dig at each other along the sideline in the middle of a battle?
No, I guess, you know, myself and David were no different. We all want to win, and I suppose our job is to try and prepare our team to be the best that they can be next Sunday. And I mean, that's they're not easy jobs, but they're something that, you know, I definitely enjoy the role. I love being involved with the lads, and you know, you just go out and you leave them cross the white line and you know, hand it over to them. And you know, as I said, some days it goes for you and some days it doesn't. We had highs and lows last year, and there's highs and lows in every championship season. But you know, as I said, we're just really looking forward to it.
In a word, because we're running out of time, going to win, Waterford?
If I didn't think I was going to win, there's no point turning up, and Liam is the same, you know.
Well, we look forward to a great Munster final. Davy Fitz and Liam Sheedy, thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. That's it from Hayes Hotel. It's back to you, Des, in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Martin. Good luck to Davy and Liam on Sunday. Well, let's go back to some more of the famous names in our audience now. Jim Green from Waterford is here. Jim, how are you feeling about it?
I'm looking forward to the day. It's going to be a great day for the county. We have the minors as well as the seniors on shows. First time in 61 years or something that we had the two of them together. So overall, from a Waterford point of view, I think we have a right chance in the match. We have a forward line that's capable of a lot of things if they get any kind of good supply. If our backs can contain their forwards, well, then we have a realistic chance of winning. And having the minors there on the same day is going to be a wonderful Waterford day.
It certainly is, yeah, great. Liz Howard, you've never been pessimistic about Tipperary, have you?
Absolutely not, and I think, tonight is wonderful to be here with so many iconic figures of hurling, indeed administrators. But as a female, I would like to acknowledge the presence of one of the team of the century, Linda Mellerick, who is Cork, of course, but born in Tipperary. But
we'll be talking to her in a moment.
Yeah, but coming on to Tipperary, I think next week we're looking forward to a great game. And Ger mentioned that Shane and Conor O'Mahony and Owen haven't been playing so well, but we must remember that both Shane and Conor had the mumps, and it takes a little while to recover, and Owen, of course, has been injured. But I'm looking forward to an absolutely wonderful game. I think Waterford play a very exciting and wonderful brand of hurling. Tipperary went a little bit asleep both against Cork and Clare, but I think this is going to stand to us because I think that they will be very focused, and I think that I'm looking for Tipperary double next week, and I wish them all the best of luck.
OK, Liz. Fergal Hartley. Last year's All-Ireland final, do you think, behind the Waterford lads now, is it?
Oh yeah, I think that's well behind them nowadays. It has to be.